Well, good morning to all of you. Thanks for coming today. I'm Lisa Subchition with the Edmonton Police Service Corporate Communications Section. We brought you here today to unveil an advertising campaign concerning alcohol-facilitated sexual assault. For those of you unfamiliar with this term, this is a sexual act perpetrated by an offender with a victim who is profoundly intoxicated to the point of near or actual unconsciousness. In these cases, the victims cannot give consent. The statistics reveal that the majority of these offenders are known to the victim. This campaign is the result of months of hard work by members of the SAVE committee. SAVE stands for Sexual Assault Voices of Edmonton. Among the members of the SAVE committee are the Sexual Assault Centre of Edmonton, the University of Alberta Sexual Assault Centre, Saffron Centre of Sherwood Park, Covenant Health Prevention of Alcohol-Related Trauma in Youth, or the PARTY program, Responsible Hospitality Edmonton, Red Cross, Prostitution Awareness and Action Foundation, University of Alberta Women's Studies, Community Advocates, and the Edmonton Police Service. We will have two representatives from the SAVE committee, Karen Smith with the Sexual Assault Centre of Edmonton and Superintendent Danielle Campbell with the EPS Criminal Investigations Division, that will be speaking with you today. And that is the formal portion of the program. But you are invited to speak to any of the committee members that are gathered here today, and they've been all assembled here on stage, so again, you're welcome to talk to anyone. Now let me begin first by introducing you to Karen Smith with the Sexual Assault Centre of Edmonton. Karen?
Thank you, Lisa. SAVE, or the Sexual Assault Voices of Edmonton, is a dynamic community partnership committed to reducing sexual violence in Edmonton. We all recognize that sexual assault can happen to anyone, regardless of their age, their gender, faith, ethnic heritage, income level, or sexual orientation. Our organizations know that the vast majority of alcohol-facilitated sexual assaults are committed by young men between the ages of 18 and 24, and that the vast majority of victims of this crime are young women. We know that traditional tips have absolutely no effect on reducing sexual violence. Tips are viewed by victims as a list of rules that women must follow. When a woman is sexually assaulted, she will go through that list in her mind and blame herself, saying, "What on earth did I do wrong? Okay, I must have forgotten one of those rules." Tips just reinforce the myth that women are somehow responsible for anticipating and preventing sexual violence. This innovative SAVE committee believes that as long as society directs prevention strategies at women, we all stop looking at what the real problem is, the perpetrators. Those individuals who would knowingly exert their power and control because they believe they're entitled to a person's body. The SAVE committee knew that we had to develop an offender-focused campaign in order to change behaviors. We need to educate young men that sex without voluntary consent is not only highly inappropriate, but it is against the law. These young men need to learn new behaviors now. Friends of perpetrators can no longer stand idly by, knowing that someone may be sexually assaulted. Now that this information is being presented to young adults, perpetrators and their allies will no longer be able to pretend that they didn't know that sex without voluntary consent is a crime. The SAVE campaign is eye-catching, it's blunt, and it reflects the real-life situations for a very specific target audience. Not all the posters that you'll see today are intended for a general audience. Sexual contact without voluntary consent is a criminal offense and will not be tolerated in our community.
Well done, Karen. On behalf of the other SAVE committee members, it is my sincere thanks to all of you for being here again. We last met earlier this year in March, and thank you for coming today. As a member of SAVE, or the Sexual Assault Voices of Edmonton, I can tell you that this social marketing campaign is groundbreaking because it finally addresses the truth that the individual responsible for a sexual assault is the offender. It calls for a paradigm shift in our social attitudes. This campaign is designed to address the growing trend of alcohol-facilitated sexual assaults being committed in our community by 18 to 24-year-old males. It is an educational and awareness campaign that speaks to the issue of consent. What is consent? A voluntary agreement to engage in a sexual activity. Two people mutually agreeing to engage in sex. Consent must be given freely. It cannot be given by someone else. Consent can be withdrawn at any time. A person that is drunk or passed out cannot give consent. Additionally, using alcohol to gain sexual compliance of another is a form of coercion and therefore an offense. Bottom line, any sexual contact or act without consent equals sexual assault. I'd like to give you some statistics. In 2009, 50% of the cases investigated by Sexual Assault Section revealed that alcohol was a factor. The majority of the alcohol-facilitated sexual assaults that we investigated were committed by 18 to 24-year-old males. Sadly, the trend continues. In 2010, the first 6 months, Sexual Assault Section investigated files involving a total of 153 victims, of which 52% involved alcohol consumption before the offense was committed. In each of these cases, the victims were clearly intoxicated. In point of fact, in some cases, passed out at the time of the sexual assault. In each and every case, the offender was known to the victim. The offender was a friend, a boyfriend, a friend of a friend, a co-worker, or a recently made acquaintance. Once again, in each of these cases this year, the majority of these offenders are 18 to 24-year-old males. In a recent study released this month out of the UK, a study involving 18 to 25-year-old males revealed, and I want you to pay attention to this, 48% did not consider it rape if the woman was too drunk to know what was going on. 46% did not consider it to be rape if the woman changed her mind during sex. 23% did not consider it rape if the woman said no from the very start. Those statistics should haunt you. They should disturb you. We need a paradigm shift. We need a campaign to change those attitudes. And the City of Edmonton has the community response that has it in their capacity to do just that. And the way we're going about doing it is through our campaign, Don't Be That Guy. The Don't Be That Guy campaign launches Monday, November 22nd, runs through until January 27th, 2011. It will consist of print, transit, and mini board advertising aimed at males between the ages of 18 to 24. The advertisements use graphic language, disturbing images to communicate one bottom line message. Sex without consent is sexual assault. Before we show you the ads, I'd like to leave you with a few key messages. To anyone out there that has been the victim of a sexual assault, know this: it was not your fault. 100% of the responsibility for that offense committed against you lies solely with the offender. For those of you that choose to be that guy, that opportunistic offender, know this. The Edmonton Police Service has the subject matter experts to investigate these cases, and we will hold you accountable for the crime you commit. To our young men in the 18 to 24 category who are not that guy, but perhaps they've seen that guy in action. Perhaps they even have a buddy that has been that guy. Now that you know, you can't not know. So the next time you see someone about to do that, stand up. Don't just stand by. Stop the sexual assault from happening. Prevent another that guy. We have 2 ads to show you now. They reflect the messaging of our campaign. They reflect real-life situations and, in fact, are true examples of the very alcohol-facilitated sexual assaults that we investigate way too often. The first poster is a typical scenario. Intoxicated female being escorted to a vehicle by someone that may not respect that she cannot give consent because she is drunk. The second poster, a classic and all too familiar scenario. Someone has had too much to drink and in point of fact is sleeping it off. Just because they didn't say no doesn't mean that they're consenting. Sex without consent is sexual assault. There are 3 ads to our campaign. The third ad is not for a general audience. This ad will be strategically placed above the urinals in men's bathrooms in 26 bars throughout our city. This campaign, this particular ad, because of its sensitive nature, is not suitable for a general audience, but for the purpose of today's media availability, we're going to break from the norm here of the way we normally conduct business. And what we've done is we've placed the third ad just over to the right in the men's bathroom, and we have staff available that will direct any of you there so that you can see the third ad. It is graphic, it is blunt, and it resonates with the very target audience that we hope to educate and bring awareness to. I want to assure you that in anticipation of today, we've secured the bathroom. It's been locked for the purpose of our time together, so you won't be embarrassed in any way. There'll be no surprises. And so if at this time any of you would like to view it, again, it's just, you just walk out this way. We have staff lined up along the route. The bathroom is to the right. It's on this level. And feel free to go and have a look of it. When you return, myself, Karen Smith, any members of our SAVE committee will be here to answer any questions that you have. Thank you.